What's up, everybody? Farls here with a new segment. I've been getting a lot of questions from the community, so we have a new video series called #AskFarls. If you guys have questions, I'll break them down. Anything from Madden to life to creating videos to vlogging. Any questions you guys have that expand outside gaming, feel free to ask them in the comments and we'll break them down. Today's question is the start it off one, and I want to make it a good one. So I got this question, I saw it online. Farls, what is your biggest mistake? That's a deep question. There's a lot to break down and deconstruct there, and so let's start with it. First thing, I would say that I feel like a lot of people would expect this answer to be like a tactic or something that you feel like you missed out on, or you know, oh, when I made my most popular video, I forgot to say subscribe at the end, and even though 200,000 people saw the video, I forgot to ask subscribe, and I missed out on X amount of subs. Or I did this one video that I thought was going to be really good, but the lighting turned out the audio didn't record on it, and that's my biggest mistake. But I don't feel like that's a very good answer, or like a tactic, or, you know, that's what people think leads to success, or like being in the right place at the right time. That's not really kind of the answer I'm trying to give on this type of thing. Just kind of go deeper and deconstruct what actually is behind some success. So I would say for me, and this is important for a lot of the young kids, I don't know if you guys watch my videos, but if you're a youngster, you're in middle school or high school, and you're trying to think about what you want to do when you grow up, I get a lot of questions like, how can I work in games, or how can I want to make videos, or I want to do X, Y, Z when I grow up. That's very good that you ask those questions now, and you start to think ahead of like, what do I want to do when I get older, or what do I not want to do? That's a good question to start. So based on that, I would say my biggest mistake personally is something I think about a lot. I would say that in middle school and in high school, I didn't know what was at stake, and I did not pay attention, and I did not think about actively making my own dreams come true. Not dreams come true like big picture stuff, but like in detail. I just thought life was going to happen whether or not I happened to it, and that's not how life works. Basically what I mean is I would be in school, like in middle school or in high school. I just thought that I was going to go to college. Not the best college, because that's not who I was, but a good college, because I had this idea that smart people went to smart colleges, regular people went to regular colleges, stupid people didn't go to college, and I just had that preconceived movie life notion of you are what you are and you can't change what you can be. You're not fast, well then you can't get faster. Like if you're not good at running, then you're slow. And there's no amount of training or drills that you could do to run a faster mile or increase your sprint time or get stronger. You just were that way for the rest forever. And I just thought, oh, I'm a regular person. I'm going to go to regular college, get a regular job. So I just thought that that was my life's path, and I wouldn't have to do anything to make that happen. But when you don't feel like you have to do anything, well, then you don't do anything. And then all of a sudden you trend away from that. And then all of a sudden you look around and you're not on the track you thought you were on. But then you say, well, I thought that's where I was, I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And then you figure out, wow, everyone else is working pretty hard around me, and I should probably do that too. So I feel like my biggest mistake was not paying more attention in like middle school and high school. I don't know how I would have known that. And like compete in the classroom. Like in middle school and high school, I loved to compete in sports. I loved to compete in games. Anything. Ping pong, swimming, like just against friends. Like I'm a very competitive person, so I like to compete at doing anything. But in school, I thought oh, like if I study too hard, I'm not gonna be cool, which is like the dumbest possible thing you could think. Because all my friends were pretty smart. So I just wanted to goof around and not have to do school stuff, because I thought school stuff was for the smart people or for the non-cool people. Not that I was even cool. But basically what happened was, in high school, I started to see my friends get accepted into the smart colleges, and even though I was hanging around with them and I was like fooling around, like goofing around, playing video games, which is fine as a hobby, but like goofing around, not taking school seriously, or not taking the college application process seriously, or not being an active participant in my own life and destiny. Meanwhile, I'm like 16. I don't know how I would know. Besides my parents being like, do your homework. Did you apply to that college? And you're like, Mom, stop asking me if I applied to that college. I'm just going to go there someday, because that's, it doesn't make any sense. So I remember specifically like one event where like I walked into my friend's like room, and he had a bunch of books, and like he was a dude that I would always like, we'd always like goof around. But then I was like, wait, when we're not hanging around goofing around, like you're reading these books? And I was like, I thought you were goofing around all the time. I thought we were gonna like just like goof around until, whenever, like until we're 30. But then I realized like, wow, these other people have these other hobbies and interests, and when they're not goofing around with me, they're actually like reading books, taking SAT classes, applying to colleges, and they're gonna go somewhere, and then I'm gonna be stuck here. So, not that it's bad, but I feel like I could have taken a more. I was probably like in high school, I had like a 2.9 GPA, so like a B minus average, because I wasn't an A student. But that's something that I told myself. Nobody ever told me that. I was just like, yeah, I'm a B student. But when I told myself I was a B student, I would get C's, because I would be like, yeah, I'm a B student. Like, I'm just going to take this class, and you're going to give me a B regardless of whether or not I do the work. Which is so, once again, so stupid. It's so stupid. I know this sounds stupid, but I feel like it's a phenomenon I've talked to other people about. Like, I didn't know the game that we were playing. I didn't understand all the stuff that I had to do. So, even though I got put into some honors classes, I was like, well, I'm not really an honors student, so I'm just gonna not do any work. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Anyways, I got like a 2.9 in high school, and then in college, I figured it out. I'm like, wow, I could get A's if I hand in this assignment, if I go to this class, if I do this work, if I do this extra credit. And then in college, I had like a 3.8 GPA, which in college, nobody cares what your GPA is. In high school, it matters, so you can get into college. So I kind of did the opposite of what I should have done, but that's it. But basically, what I'm saying is, my personal biggest mistake, I feel like I was delayed in starting to have my own interests. I just thought whatever your default character loadout was, like, I'm Zach, I like video games, I'm going to go to state college, I'm a B student, I'm kind of slow at running, I'm this way, I'm now going to be this way for the rest of my life. But that's not true. You can set goals, you can do drills, you can get stronger, you can get faster, you can get smarter, you could read more. Reading doesn't make you not cool. Reading, in fact, makes you much cooler, because you become much smarter, much more self-sufficient. You can learn about any topic you want to. You can like history, you can like science, you can like arts. You could think you like arts, and then you read a lot of books about the arts, and you're like, I don't really like the arts. I think I like reading about sports more. I always thought I would do something more with like sports, but then I actually did a job in sports, and I was like, this isn't really what I want to do every day. This isn't what I thought it was. So it was important. It's important to get out there, try different things, and just doing more and more of that makes you cool. Just because you grew up playing soccer Because why did you grow up playing soccer? Well, you probably, when you were 4 or 5, your parents probably just said, hey, there's a soccer league. We should get Jimmy involved with running around, kicking the ball, and playing with the neighbors. You probably at 4 years old wasn't like, I want to play soccer versus basketball. How would you know you're 4? You have no clue. So if you are playing soccer and you're like, you know what, I really like soccer. I think I want to try a different sport. Go try a different sport. But you got to be active, not just, you don't just like you don't have a pre-drawn destiny that happens regardless of whether or not you want it to. And that would be my biggest mistake. Not taking, I don't know what it would have changed really, but I just feel like I could have done better earlier. And I feel like I missed out on some time because I didn't start right away. I wasted a lot of time. And wasting time to me is something that I don't like to do. Gibbs makes fun of me. I like to always be moving towards something. I don't like to just sit and wait. It drives me nuts. So then I look back and I'm like, wow, you wasted like 4 years in high school just goofing around, which is part of high school, having fun, hanging with your friends. And I was working a lot of the times we were goofing around, so that was fine. But I would perhaps have a different destiny. So that would be my biggest mistake. If you're a youngster and you're watching out and you want to make videos, or you want to be on an ESPN SportsCenter anchor, or you want to make you want to be a pro Madden player, or you want to do something, just because you want it doesn't mean it's going to happen. You have to do something to make it happen, and the more you can plan out what you're going to do and have a plan and have a focus and lay it out, I'd say that's more respectable. Announcing it to the world, saying, I'm going to be this, I'm going to do that. Putting it out there holds you more accountable. It doesn't make you not cool, it makes you cooler to me, because then people know what you're about and you can achieve those goals more easily once you've set up a plan to get it done. So I would say that's my biggest mistake. That's the first answer in the Ask Farls series. Hopefully it's a good one. If you got more questions, leave them in the comments. Hopefully that made sense. If it didn't make sense, I don't know. It's my brain. So my brain works. I'll talk to you guys later. Until next time, subscribe and lock up.